6 o'clock, and we have a quorum, and this is a special called meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. We have one item on the agenda, and that is first reading of an ordinance 11-13, which is a technical correction to a map amendment to parcel 37, tax map 131, located on the northwest corner of Kingston Pike and Lovell Road, the site of the future Costco warehouse, from B1 to C1 to reduce the B1 buffer district to 50 feet in width adjacent to Powell Acres subdivision. You're on.
I'll take this, Mayor. Thank you. Mayor, I just wanted to, and board, I just want to give you a little history on what has been going on with this whole process. As Costco came in and asked for their site plan to be approved by the Planning Commission last month, we went through, talked a lot about a buffer zone that is located between the Powell Acres residence and the property here. That buffer zone, initially staff thought it was 50 feet. We then were told that it was 100 feet. At the Planning Commission meeting that we went to, we tried to verify, and we came back after the fact and found out that yet it is actually a 50-foot buffer. And what I wanted to do is show the board, back in 1990, when we annexed this area, the board at that time specifically stated that the buffer would be a 50-foot buffer, B1 zone, between the Powell Acres neighborhood and this property next door. When you see the map that we had back then, these were hand-drawn maps. They were not very accurate at the time, but you can see where the B1 zone is located in the crosshatch area between Powell Acres and this property that the future Costco would be sitting on. From that point, we get to 1997, and in 97 is when the Turkey Creek development came through. And during Turkey Creek, there was also a buffer zone created between the Turkey Creek development and many of the residents, I think, in the Stonecrest area. But there was also a portion of the Powell Acres area that had some B1 zone that was transferred or changed to a 100-foot buffer. And much of that area was in this northern part that touched the Turkey Creek area to the north. So let's keep going forward. I think then in 2003, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, we switched from a hand-drawn zoning map to an actual digitized zoning map with our GIS capabilities that we have today. At that point, our mapping took on the old map scale that we had. This is a pretty rough drawing of that zoning map, but this is the original 2003 zoning map that did transfer over. And when that did change over, what you can see, according to the existing zoning as it is today, is that those ranges along that B1 buffer vary quite a bit, from 36 feet in some areas to 115 feet in other areas. Obviously, with the hand-drawn map, it's not very accurate. When you bring that over and put it in a digital format, then you get these different variances. Going back and looking at the legislative history, it does show that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen back in 1990 did approve this buffer zone as a 50-foot buffer. And what we're asking the board to do tonight on first reading of the ordinance is to basically just go back and approve that buffer zone as it was originally intended of the 50 feet, to clear up any kind of ambiguity that there may be between the existing zoning map and what was originally intended by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in 1990. So again, this is the only item before the board tonight, and staff would recommend your approval.
And if you want to say anything at this point. For those of you who are not on the Planning Commission, probably have some questions, so fire away.
I was just curious. I did catch the last part of the meeting the last time, the Planning Commission. I was just curious if we get a status of where things are, of what the town can do and what the town cannot do with regard to the concerns that the Powell Acres residents have relative to the Costco development.
Sure. I have contacted our town attorney, Tom Hale, who I think has been in contact with the residents to some degree, and the attorneys for both Costco and for the Shods, who are the current owners of the property, trying to get an agreement worked up regarding the concerns that the residents have. All indications from Costco, and I just talked to them this past week, are that they intend to do what they said they were going to do during the Planning Commission, which is the 4 items, I believe, that the residents had asked for. So from that perspective, that's all I can give you is kind of secondhand knowledge of just the conversations I've had with them. And I guess regarding that, and dealing with the Board of Mayor and Alderman decision tonight is really, we're just focusing on the zoning or the map amendment to try to get that corrected too. So,
Relative to the map and the corrections on a broader basis, are there any other areas like this that you think might be out there? I'm just curious, given the go from the hand-drawn to digital stuff.
I think that as we go through future site plans and we have either future buffer zones or future issues that may come up, we may need to address those and try to look very carefully at those. I think if it becomes an issue, we would certainly go back and look at it. We have a large town with a lot of different zones. Unfortunately, some of those zoning districts do not follow parcel lines, and when that happens, you can get some discrepancies in there. So we'll just have to take it case by case and see what we can do. Obviously, the town has approved many zoning changes throughout the years. I don't know if we can go back and look at every single one of them, but if there's a discrepancy that comes up between somebody coming forward with a site plan, then we would certainly take a hard look at that.
That's straightforward for everybody?
Pretty black and white, I think.
Well, we need a motion then.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That completes our business, right?
Yes, sir. So second reading and public hearing will be at the next board meeting on next Thursday regarding
Okay.
this issue.
All right.
The shortest meeting we've ever had.
That's right. In the front row.